Hello and welcome to Late Night Creatures, the late night show where I draw creatures, and that's the whole show. Earlier today, I believe, they revealed the new Pokemon games, Pokemon Sword and Shield. I'm very excited. I'm a very big Pokemon fan myself, and they have these cute little guys as our three new starters. I believe that this is if you are, I'm gonna catch whoever isn't caught up, catch you guys up. This is, I believe, Sobble, if I'm remembering the names right. I'm not gonna look it up right now. Score Bunny, which is not the best way to do that pun. There are definitely better ways to register that pun. And then I believe this is Grookey. Yeah. So I'm gonna, while we're drawing, I'm gonna be talking about each of these, and I want you, with how I talk about them, to guess which one's my favorite, because one of them is better than all the others. But before we go any further, I'm just gonna get them battle ready. So awesome. Yeah, I took the time before the episode started to make them all have angry eyes, just because it was a fun thing to do for a warm up. So let's get to it. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be predicting their final evolutions. You know, how their strongest form they can get to. So we're just going to go right down the list. Let's start with Sobble. So Sobble, let's see. He has this fin on top of his head. He has this weird round body and these odd suction-y type hands. So I think we should make that head less round. I feel like round and squishy. I feel like that's the opposite of what we want for our powerful final form. So I want to give him sort of this gross rectangular head. Not this. I mean, he's already gross. Look, don't get me wrong. Sobble, he's cute and all, but he's kind of just a gross lizard. And then he has these, I need to actually look at him not angry. He has these big doughy eyes. So maybe we should not do that. Let's give him just some nice little, beady eyes. And he has this weird little, he basically has a hairline. I'm making Sobble basically the opposite of what he is now, because he needs to be powerful. And in order for him to be powerful, he needs to not have any of his current features because they make him a weak little squirt. See what I did there? Squirt, because he's the water type. Anywho. And then he has these little little snake nose. I actually do like that, so we're going to keep that. He's not looking very fish-like. Don't worry, we'll get there, I promise. And then the mouth. So he has this isn't a very fishy mouth. I know he's supposed to be a water lizard like a basilisk or something, but maybe let's make this mouth a little more fish mouth. And sort of, this is going to get better, I promise. So we have that fish mouth, and then fish mouths kind of, they go like that, I think. I don't have like a good fish mouth to use. Let's give him some teeth. Some sharp teeth there. For he becomes kind of a, I'm not entirely certain like what he actually becomes yet. I'm kind of just running with what I know. I gotta draw on his tongue. There we go. So let me make these eyes a little less beady. Like that. Do this the little cute Pokemon. Ooh, that's a big eraser. Let me do the little cute Pokemon. There we go. See, now this is starting to look like a Pokemon and a final evolution. Give them these nice little, I'm not very good at drawing Pokemon eyes. They're or really Pokemon for that matter. Okay, so now we need to deal with this fin. Right now he's in the same-ish position. Okay. So maybe this fin just grows out really far, and it becomes kind of like a wraparound object. So he has the fin. That was a bad line. He has the fin. Oh my god. He has the fin, and I'm getting caught on stuff is the problem. It wraps around here, and I'm going to deal with the rest of that later. I got to give him a body real quick. So he's going for, I feel like they're going for a lizard look. So let's give him kind of this like lizardy neck. Very nice. In that case, we can take away the end of this, I guess, connector that the fin's attached to here. Bring that around like so. So we can make this fin kind of tattered and not right, so that it wraps around here. It invades his neck space a bit. It comes around, and it becomes kind of like a boa of some kind. You know, like the feathery boa, except fish, except fish feather, except fish. And so he has this fish boa, which he uses for some Pokemon stuff, some type of Pokemon thing. Let's make that come around a little better there. And so what this thingy is for, I don't actually know. What do you think Sobble's evolution uses this weird boa it has wrapped around it for? It could be anything. So let me know. So now we got to move on to these hands. So he has these little soft grabbers. They look like little chameleon hands. That's not going to work. So I'm thinking maybe we, instead of him having 2 little prong grabbers, maybe let's beef up those noodles a bit and give him 4. I feel like 4 is a good number of little Grabimons to have. I don't think that's the right term, but they're connected to a Pokemon, so it has to end in Mon in some way, or have Pokey in it. His Pokey hands. That's better. That's actually, yeah, that's better. His Pokey hands, that's awful. Those look bad. I changed my mind, because those don't look good. Let's see. So maybe we do keep the 2 prongs, but instead we just make them these gross, awful tendrils. Oh, I like that. So now he has these awful, terrible tendrils. They're despicable. It's very nice. I mean, he's a good little boy. Not Sobble, this thing. Sobble's mediocre at best. Water type starters are never good. And I will stand by that till the day I die. Squirtle, not good. The only one that's alright is Piplup. And that's just because Empoleon's cool. Aside from that, every water starter is bad. A Greninja, or Froakie, I guess is okay, because Greninja's kind of cool, and he's in Detective Pikachu. But I think I could have picked a better Pokemon than Greninja. Anywho, that's my rant. Water types aren't the best. Water types are pretty boring in general. And I will fight anyone who comes after me on that. Fight you very easily. Yeah, so we have these, if we have these tendrils, dang it. If we have these tendrils, I keep having to redraw a lot of stuff. So we have these tendrils. Look, Blastoise is fine, but it's, even in Kanto, there's better water types you can get than Blastoise that have a better moveset and are overall more powerful. Like if you're gonna waste your time getting a Blastoise, you should, instead of doing that, just grab a Charmander and work to get a Gyarados. It's a significantly better play. Anywho, so I want to continue. I want to finish this boa wrap around, kind of under his arm there. And I am kind of taking a page out of Greninja's book. I wouldn't call it stealing per se, but it's a similar type deal where he has an organic part that he uses to wrap around himself. So let's see. Now we gotta figure out what to do. So he has this tail, which, by the way, okay, that's a Squirtle tail. This is, look, I mean, that's a Squirtle tail. That's bad. That's bad news. I'm glad you made it. Jeremiah, I'm glad you made it. But yeah, that's a Squirtle tail. I'm just saying. I don't know. I haven't seen anyone mention it, but that's literally just a Squirtle tail. And you know what we're gonna do with that? I bet you can't guess. If you guessed gross tendril, then you were correct, which is kind of a theme for this Pokemon. And he becomes kind of a weird, spindly. He just has a bunch of lizard tails, and then he has these feet, which are just his hands. His feet are just his hands. So that's a Mewtwo tail that I just drew. Maybe I am good at drawing Pokemon. I'm just borrowing from a bunch of other Pokemon to make this one, which I think is an alright strategy. And I've used a lot of time on him, so we're gonna have to go a little faster on the other two. Which is a shame, because if you hadn't noticed, Sobble is not my favorite. He's my least favorite. And a lot of people really like him because they're like, oh, he's so cute, he's so innocent. But here's the thing, he's really boring looking. There's not a lot of, Sobble doesn't have a lot of visual interest for me. And so then we can finally make this come around here. He also kind of looks like Randall from Monsters, Inc. Not severely, but kinda. Awesome. So we have Sobble's evolution right here. I'm not going to deal with a name, but hey, in the chat, if you're awake, I've had people fall asleep on me before. That was a gross burp. In the chat, what type do you think that this awful tendril monster, that's too small, that this awful tendril monster we just made is? What do you think his typing is? I'll leave it up to you guys, but if I were to make a guess, I'd say probably poison and water. I also think that's where Sobble's going. I think we're getting, I don't know if it would not be our first poison type. But that's where I think he's heading. It would be the first poison water. Not in it ever, but first poison water Scarver. Anyway, let's move on to Scorbunny. So I like Scorbunny. He's a fun design. He has this little band-aid here, which I don't know if that's like part of his flesh, or if that's just a thing that they make and put on their face. But I really want to roll with that. So here's what I'm gonna do: is I'm gonna draw just a rough shape here, and don't worry exactly about what I'm doing. All will be revealed when I'm done drawing. But I have an idea about where he's gonna, where this Pokemon's gonna go. You can be whatever gender, I don't care. Anywho, because I feel like they did really bad with his name. I've seen so many better names for him. I haven't seen better ones for Grookey or Sobble, but everyone's like, it should have been this instead of Scorbunny, or should have been this. And I'm not going to say them out loud because I don't steal jokes. But if I think of my own, I'll be sure to let you know. But it doesn't work. It's the worst pun that you could have done with that, with those two words, with scorch and then something along the lines of bunny. Okay, so we have his little band-aid. Is that what the dots on a band-aid look like? I forget. We're just gonna say it's a square. So there's the band-aid. And then I think kind of just the rest of him just stays the same. You know? He just kind of gets a bigger band-aid as he evolves. Until finally the band-aid takes over the majority of his face. And that is all he is now. So I'm basically just going to redraw his body. So let's see how good I can draw from a reference quickly. It's a fun game that I like to play called Can I Make This Look Similar Enough? And some people say you didn't make that game up. That's also not a game. But to them I say you're right, it's not, but Gosh, that was bad news what I just drew. That's better-ish. Okay. And then he had that little this, and he's got feeties, and this one comes around along those lines. And then he has the leg right there, and then this little foot comes around here, like so, and then does this. He has a tail. And so now I'm just gonna make the ears just sort of poking out the top. Those are way too sharp. Poking out the top here, like so. And there he is. And I think maybe we should just give him, like, he's really dedicated to this whole being a Band-Aid endeavor. And so he's basically just a Band-Aid now. He's a Band-Aid rabbit. If you're asking what types he is, I don't know. I would assume fire and something. Whatever Band-Aids are made of. There's not a rubber type. So I actually don't really know what type he would be. Yeah, you guys choose. Pick types. What's Band-Aid type? Fire and Band-Aid. They had a new type just for this game. And it's Band-Aid type. They're all the worst Pokemon. Much like Scorbunny's final evolution is probably going to be. And then we have Grookey, who's a wonderful little monkey fella. He has a very nice color palette. It's different from other grass types. It's kind of similar to Turtwig, who also had a good color palette. So Grookey, I'm not sure exactly how he's going to go. But he has this little rod, this little thing tying his hair up. He has this top knot type deal. And so I think maybe that top knot is going to be the same thing to the Band-Aid. But whenever there's a semi-inorganic material on a Pokemon, our wonderful friends at Game Freak kind of just run with it. So I'm thinking maybe he still has that up there. And I know that this is the exact same thing I did earlier. But now it's grown into sort of this gnarled, like, tree. It has, like, this sway to it. It has branches coming off. Like so. I can draw a branch. It has branches coming off, and it's just a bit of a mess. Like that. And then he just, instead of having those two leaves like a child, now he just has one big leaf that he has tied on into that top knot there. Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually. I like that. And so he has that leaf there, and then maybe he just has sort of some like blades of grass basically coming up from behind the leaf as part of his hair now. I think maybe he's become sort of a this grizzled gorilla type of creature. And so let's take this head shape now, make it bigger. Kind of make it, thinking in like a gumdrop shape. Right there. Yeah, like that. And then that little orange part there has become basically that's not what I want to draw. It's become a beard type deal. Yeah, that's nice. That's good. And he's just this very tart old, that this little face detailing he has is sort of rounded itself off. It's become less exaggerated. Ugh, I hate when I draw stuff wrong. Drawing stuff wrong is the bane of people who like to draw stuff right. Especially when you're doing a show where you need to, kind of be on top of your game. And I'm thinking maybe has these, I don't know exactly how to describe the eyes, but they're these heavy lids, like so. And and then this also has become kind of a beard shape, like that. And we have this, he's gotten big, beefy arms. And he has kind of these gloves, so maybe let's make them like legitimate gloves, Poke them out a bit. Oh, then bring them in. And we can do that little hand that he has. Does he have 3 fingers? Oh wow, he has 4. Well, 5, counting a thumb. I guess that is important if you're drawing a monkey, because that's kind of like an important thing about them, is that they have human hands. Oh, I like him. He's great. And he's sitting, let me get maybe this other, so that tail, I don't know what to do about that tail, because if he's a gorilla, I also need to add in his little ears. So let me add in those ears. I think they've sort of just, because I think they're supposed to be buds. So maybe they've burst out and become kind of like dandelions, right? The big puffballs that you blow on. I think that's the right plant. I don't know why I can't remember what that plant's called. I'm pretty sure it's a dandelion. Anywho, they've puffed out into these puffball-esque plants out the side of his head here, like so. So there he is. He's great. Oh, that was actually I'm not gonna lie, guys. I like that design choice on my part. I'll pat myself on the back for that. I think that's a good move. It makes him look more dynamic. I'm gonna add a little knot in this tree here real quick. That's something that's easy. Anywho, back to him. So maybe he's using his tail for something that isn't a tail anymore. So he has this, we're going for this kind of old man, you know what, it's an old Kung Fu master type of look here. So maybe he's just, he uses his tail as a cane. I know that sounds weird, but trust me, it can work. Because, spider monkeys, they do that, kinda. They use them as grappling hooks. If you haven't heard someone describe, what's the word? Not thinking of words, not being able to think of words is the bane of people who like to be able to think of words. And the word I'm thinking of is when the tail moves around by itself. God, it'll come to me. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's gonna bother me. But we're gonna try and move on and forget about it. If you know what type of prehensile, that's the word. Great, now we can move on. So yeah, he has this sort of prehensile tail that comes up, and it's just his little cane. Now I need to draw the rest of his body so that tail has somewhere to go to. So I think maybe his body just got a little round, and his legs are essentially the same as they originally were. So he has sort of this deal going on. Those come in. Ooh, that was too much. Those come in nice and tight. It's just 1, 2, 3. And then he's got 1, 2, 3. And so we have these nice little feet. And so then this tail runs along the ground, and he uses his own tail to help support him with its prehensile properties. I need to finish connecting that to the rest of the body. Okay, cool. These are some good boys. Now that they're all drawn, these guys can go back to being happy. Okay, cool. All right, I'll try and shade. I'll get as much shading done as I can real quick. We've been running the shading real tight the past few episodes, but it's all right. It's fun because that means that the drawings were fun, but they just took time, and that's okay. I'm willing to make those sacrifices for us as a collective. Everyone watching this video, you are now part of a hive mind. You should be honored. You're welcome for me giving you this opportunity. I'm really excited for the new game. It's based on, the region is based on England, which will be interesting. I'm sure there will be some more Mr. Mime-esque, just Pokemon that are basically humans that'll come out of that, and those are always fun. Those are some fun Pokemon. I really want to see a Pokemon in the new game that's kind of like one of the guards that in movies the people try and make, is it like move or laugh? I want to see a Pokemon that's just one of those guys. And they give it some weird Pokemon name, but it's super obvious that it's just one of them. We're going to go with the different colors for each of them. And the shading's going to get messy, because pushing the clock. I got 2 minutes. That means a minute for each of these. But luckily, Scorbunny doesn't have a lot of details, because he's literally the exact same as he was, except with less details, because his head's now a giant Band-Aid. Alright. There he is. And then finally, our last boy. By the way, I didn't say it. Grookey. Grookey's the best one. The other two suck. Grookey's the best boy. He belongs to everyone. He's emotionally accessible. Grookey's the best boy. Anyone who believes otherwise, come after me. I'd like to see you defend one of these other idiots against Grookey. He's doubtlessly the best one. Doubtlessly, I say. With Scorbunny's second, and then Sobble's third, because Sobble's third. Sobble is the worst. And I'll fight anyone on that too. Well, not fight. I mean, I like to be nice to people. And it's 7:30, so let me just finish up this shade like super fast. And there we go. So here are the 100% accurate final evolutions of the starters for Pokemon Sword and Shield. You can consider this a leak. I got it in with Nintendo. You remember that Smash Brothers episode? They called me. I'm on top of it. So yeah, consider this a leak. Sorry if I spoiled the game for you. With that said, thanks for joining me. I'll see you next week. Have a nice night. Bye.